Hi everyone, my name is Lindsay and I've got a yin yoga practice for us today that will focus on the kidney meridians. So in Chinese traditional medicine, there are lines of energy that run through different areas of the body. They'll use these meridians in things like acupuncture or acupressure. And today we're going to be using our kidney meridian. We're going to stimulate it using our yin yoga practice. So if you're new to yin, these are poses that are held longer for the, minute to 6 minute time frame. And we will be experiencing sensation in these postures. So we won't be working with our muscles so much, but these poses, because we're holding them for so long, causes most of the benefits to be found in our cartilage, our ligaments, our tendons. So we'll be feeling these postures as we get into them. So take some time to connect with the body as we settle in. And if you feel sensation, that's fine. Consider noticing what types of sensation you're experiencing. If you start to experience something like pain, hot or shooting, pins and needles, stuff like that, you are welcome to back out of these poses, which I will be guiding us through all the while. So I mentioned that we'd be working with the kidney meridian. That meridian runs through the center of the chest and along the inner thighs. And it is said that by stimulating the kidney meridians, we are kind of building a sense of courage and motivation towards personal growth and well-being. So we'll be using that idea as we kind of hold these postures through our practice. So I have a couple of props today that I'll be using in my practice. You might find that you would like these props, that you don't need to practice with them if you're feeling more flexible. If you don't have a yoga bolster and yoga blocks available to you today, you can use something like pillows or couch cushions. For the blocks, you might use thick books, something that can help support you up a little bit, but I'll give lots of options as we move through this. Okay, so all that being said, we'll take our first posture as a reclined butterfly posture. Getting into it, we'll bring a bolster to lie flat, and we'll bring our hips to the base of the bolster. Getting ourselves nice and comfortable here. We'll plant the feet and then heel toe the feet towards each other and slowly open the knees out wide. So we'll have lots of options here. You might pause here for just a moment, feeling the sensations in this. You might scooch the heels in a little closer, a little farther back. And as you feel ready, we'll gently begin to drape ourselves down over the bolster. And pausing here just to relax and reflect on the sensations that this is bringing up in the body. You might find that this is too intense to lay on a bolster like this. So many options. You can put some blocks underneath your bolster so you end up with more of a ramp shape. Stop. Stack the blocks back here and you have more of a ramp shape to rest on. You might also find that you don't need a bolster and you can just lie down completely flat on your back and allowing the knees to open out wide. We're going to hold this posture for about 5 minutes. So we'll take some time settling in, allowing the arms to come out towards the sides. You might close your eyes here, feeling the breath move in and out of the body. Starting to lengthen out the breath. Allowing the inhales to be a little longer and a little slower. Allowing the exhales to be a little slower, a little longer. As I mentioned at the beginning of class, stimulating this meridian can really help us on our path of personal growth and well-being. So I'd like to invite you at the beginning of class to come up with your own personal dedication or intention or sankalpa, thinking of this as your heartfelt desire and connecting this desire, this dedication, to that idea of personal growth or courage to change for the better, to some physical or spiritual wellness that you would like to see. Whatever it might be, allow yourself to reflect on this. And we'll create that dedication using positive language and the present tense. Allowing this dedication or intention to stay present with us through our practice. I find that when I'm practicing yin, because we are experiencing sensation and we are holding the poses for a long time, I often find my mind is wanting to wander away from the mat, almost as a form of escape from the sensations I'm feeling. So to keep myself present in the practice, I use that dedication, that sankalpa, to remind me why I'm here doing what we're doing. I also use this as an opportunity to connect with the sensations in my body. And as I am connecting with those sensations in the body, I try to stay away from judgments, like it is a good feeling or it is a bad feeling. Just noticing, oh, there's a little tightness on that side, or oh, I'm clenching that particular muscle. So just noticing these sensations allows me to help soften and release maybe any of the muscle engagement that's happening in that area. And it allows me to stay connected with my body and with this practice. We have another 2 minutes here in this posture. So if you're finding that the sensation has become too intense, you're welcome to make any adjustments here that might allow you to, I guess, sit through the next 2 minutes. That might include placing a block underneath the knees or some sort of support. You might also lift yourself up a little bit. But I encourage you, if you are able, to stay with this posture. Just 1 more minute. Notice the rate of your breath moving in and out. Slowing down the breath, creating a nice even flow of breath in and out. And begin to make our way out of this posture, bringing the hands to the knees. We'll slowly lift the knees up towards the sky. Taking just a moment here, knees pressed together, and then heel toe the feet wide. Allowing the knees to come together and the hips to neutralize. Taking this time in our rebound postures, allows us to equalize almost, or recenter. We'll heel to the feet back to neutral, knees point up towards the sky. And we'll slowly help ourselves up off the floor, pressing up, lifting ourselves up. With the hands planted down on the floor, we'll take a little windshield wiper of the knees from side to side. You might notice during those rebound postures, when we're coming out, you might feel that rush of blood or sensation to those joints. We'll pause our windshield wiper and we'll just place the bolster off to the side for a moment. Rolling over, we'll come into our downward facing dog pose. So we'll plant the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, tucking the toes back behind us. As we exhale, push the hips up towards the sky. Pushing back into the shoulders, create a nice V shape here. We'll take a moment and we'll heel toe the feet like we're walking our dog. Breathing here into this downward facing dog. Use the strength of the arms to help push the shoulders up and back. We're going to use this downward facing dog posture to get into our low dragon pose. So from here in our down dog, we'll lift the right leg up back behind us. And we'll bend that right knee in towards the chest, rocking forward on the wrists. We're going to plant the right foot down on the outside of the right hand. We'll take a moment here, push the hips up and back a few times, getting settled in, heel toe that right foot out towards the right just a little bit more. And we'll slowly start to lower the left knee down towards the floor, untucking the left toes, lengthening that leg back behind us. So we've got our dragon pose here, feeling that sensation run through the front of the left leg. So we have our high dragon here. This might be where you want to stay today. You might alternately use the blocks to support underneath the shins to come down just a little bit lower. Or you might make your way all the way down onto the forearms, onto the ground. We'll hold this posture for 2 minutes total. So we've already been here for a little while. And we'll take some time to connect with that dedication or intention that we made at the beginning of class. Noticing that sensation in the body. If at any time you would like to maybe add some props underneath the forearms or underneath the chest, or to rise back up onto your hands, you are welcome to do so. Allow the head to dangle here. And reconnect with your breath. Great work. We'll start to make our way out of this low dragon, helping yourself push into the hands, lift the hips up, and we'll come into our half splits. Pushing the hips back, we'll straighten that right leg. Pushing the hips back, start to lift the right toes up towards the sky. Walk the hands back just a little bit more. Push into the hands, lengthen the spine. And then we'll slowly lower the torso down over that right leg. Staying here for those same 2 minutes. At any time you'd like to back out of the pose or to find a position that is more sustainable, you're welcome to do so. Great work. We'll start to make our way out of this, pushing back into that front foot. We'll bring the right foot back, coming into first a tabletop position. Shift the hips from side to side for a moment. And we'll tuck the toes and come back into our downward facing dog, pushing the hips up towards the sky. Great work. We'll take that low dragon on the other side. Lift the left leg up towards the sky. And we'll draw the left knee into the chest, rocking forward. Plant the left foot outside the left hand. Slowly lower the right knee down towards the ground, untucking the right toes. Getting ourselves settled here. You might stay up on the hands, or you might bring the blocks again underneath the forearms. Might lift yourself up just a little bit more, even stay here. You might relax down all the way towards the floor. Taking those 2 minutes. Allow the head to be nice and heavy here. Checking in with your breath. And noticing what sensations you are experiencing and where are you experiencing them. And one more minute here, making any adjustments that you would like for the following minute, noticing where you might be clenching any muscles. And allow them to gently soften it. If they're the muscles between your eyebrows, softening them. If it's the right glute muscles, soften. If it's the muscles around your shoulders, just try to find something that you can soften here in the last 30 seconds of the pose. Great work. We'll start to make our way back out of this pose, walking the hands back, pushing up, slowly lifting the hips back up. And we'll start to come into our half splits, pushing the hips back behind you, straightening that front leg, walking the hands on either side of the leg, straighten the left leg, point the toes up towards the sky, push into the hands just a little bit more. And as you exhale, lower the torso down over the left leg. Staying here for those 2 minutes. Noticing where our mind is. We might choose to encourage it back to our practice, back to the breath, back to the sensations we're experiencing, or maybe back to that dedication or intention that we made at the beginning of class. Our last 30 seconds of this posture, so allow your breaths to be nice and full and slow here. Slowly making our way out of this posture, pushing in through that front foot. Walking ourselves forward, draw the left knee back in line. Pausing for a moment here in our tabletop. Great work. Now we'll come down onto our forearms, extending the legs out nice and long, lowering the body all the way down onto the floor. We'll be coming into our Sphinx posture. So the arms are parallel to each other, pushing into the forearms, lift the chest up, lift the head up, squeeze the legs, maybe not together, but imagining that we can engage the muscles of the legs so that the kneecaps lift up off the mat. You might imagine that you're pressing the tops of the toes into the floor or into the mat, just finding some activation in the legs. We'll take the Sphinx pose, this kind of active Sphinx pose, for 5 minutes here. So starting with the upright position, keeping the shoulders drawing down the back, finding that engagement through the legs. You might close the eyes and noticing what you are feeling in the body. Long, slow breaths in and out. Now you might choose to keep the head upright, or you might lower the chin down towards the chest, stretching in through the back of the neck. Keep pushing into the forearms. Keep the legs active. Begin to soften the muscles of the legs. Softening the muscles of the feet, calves, the glutes, the thigh, the lower back. Keep pressing into the forearms. You might find some gentle movement into the neck is appreciated here. You might find that a little bit of stillness is where you would like to reside. We have our last 30 seconds of this posture. And begin to slowly make our way out of this posture. We'll open the elbows out wide, beginning to lower the torso down, resting the head on the hands, coming into our crocodile pose. Bring the head down. Feel the softness in the lower back. That rebound effect. We'll take a full minute here, allowing ourselves to equalize. Begin to lift the heels up towards the sky, keeping the knees bent, heels up towards the sky. We'll take a reverse windshield wiper, lifting and lowering the feet from side to side. Great. Pausing that windshield wiper, extend the legs out, again, nice and long. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, squeeze the elbows in towards the body, keep the knees planted. We'll lift our torso up. We'll come into a child's pose. Lowering the hips down over the heels, stretching the arms out nice and long. Lengthening out the lower back. Great work. We'll start to come into our hero's pose. So from child's pose, we'll lift ourselves up so that we are sitting with our hips resting on the heels. This will be one version of our hero's pose. If your knees are feeling sensitive or this is a little too intense, maybe on the hip flexors or the ankles, you can lift yourselves up, open the heels out a little wider, and place a block underneath the hips. Squeezing the block with the ankles, keeping yourselves up nice and tall. Or you might find that coming into hero's pose without that support, with the heels more open, something like this, you open the calves out and slowly lower the hips down in between the knees. So I will take that option so that I can show us the next portion. If you are finding yourselves nestled down between the feet, start to pivot the pinky toes down towards the floor, just tucking the feet in a little closer, getting the feet so that they aren't splayed necessarily out, but they're kind of tucked under and the tops of the feet are resting on the floor. So either choosing one of those elevated seated positions up on a block, or maybe seated on the heels. If you're finding that you're all the way down on the floor, resting on the booty, you might take a supine version of our hero's pose for our yin practice. So again, you can stay up on a block, down on your heels, seated on the floor between the legs, or this next step is to lower yourself down over a bolster, similar to our first posture, allowing yourself to stretch the front of the legs. Wonderful benefit here for the knee joints in any part of this posture. And we'll take 4 minutes here in our Supta Virasana. If during this pose you feel any of that pain, not just sensation or discomfort, but like real pain, shooting pain, hot pain, um, you're welcome to come out of this pose. Allow the arms to drape over the edges of the bolster, palms face the sky. Again, if you would like to close the eyes, you're welcome to do so. Allowing ourselves to focus just a little bit more clearly on sensations that we're experiencing. Keeping our eyes from darting from spot to spot, wherever we're practicing. And just focus on what we are feeling. If you find at a certain point that this becomes too intense to hold, you can place some blocks underneath the bolster. You can even lift yourself up completely off the bolster and find one of those previous positions that we started with. We have one more minute here. Stay connected. Fantastic. We'll start to make our way out of this posture, bringing the hands down towards the floor. Begin to peel the torso up nice and slow off of the bolster. Taking a breath, just seated, nice and tall. We'll roll over the legs and we'll extend them out nice and long in front of us. Spinning around so that the bolster is now placed in front of us. We'll find our Dandasana staff pose. So flexing the toes up towards the sky, getting nice and even on the sitting bones. So maybe moving some of the meat from side to side as you sit down there. Roll the shoulder blades forward, up, back and down, feeling nice and tall, nice and long here. Drawing the shoulders down, nice length through the spine. Extend the palms down towards the floor, feel nice and long through the spine, lower belly draws in. Now we'll take our caterpillar pose next. That is just a forward fold or Paschimottanasana, if you're taking another style of yoga. So we'll use a support here for our forward fold. You might comfortably be able to round yourself down and hold it, but I'll choose to use a bolster or a pillow today, placing it on top of our lap, bring it in towards the tummy. We'll slowly start to round ourselves down over our prop, over our bolster. Maybe extending the hands out nice and long, interlacing the thumbs so that you've got, the arms connected with each other, allowing the head to rest on the bolster. You might find that the bolster is a little too far away for your head to feel comfortable here, so you can rest the head on a block. Just kind of feel into this for yourself today. We'll be holding this caterpillar pose for 5 minutes. Have another 30 seconds here in this posture. And slowly begin to roll ourselves all the way back up to seated. And place the bolster off to the side. We'll start to make our way into our final resting pose, Shavasana. So we'll open the legs out about the width of our mat and lower ourselves all the way down onto the floor. Feeling supported by the ground, allow the arms to extend out by the side, palms face the ceiling. Giving yourself space here. Tucking the shoulders gently underneath the back. Allowing this time in our Shavasana for the body to integrate all the movements that we've done today. Taking some time to notice any sensations in the feet, in the calves, in the knees, in the hips, along the spine, for the shoulders, the neck, the space between our eyebrows, top of our head. And slowly bring a little bit of movement back to the fingers and the toes. Wiggling the toes, pointing and flexing the feet, stretching the arms. You might draw the knees into the chest and give yourselves a little hug. As you're ready, make your way over onto your side. We'll push ourselves up into a comfortable seated position. We'll take an inhale, lifting the arms up overhead. Exhale, draw the hands down through heart center, closing the eyes. Reflect on that dedication or intention that you made at the beginning of class. Feeling empowered to move forward with your wellness and your health. Feeling courageous in your empowerment. Thank you all so much for your practice today. The light in me sees and honors the light in you all. Namaste.